employment, education, healthcare, and social mobility. Investment in public transit ensures that all individuals, regardless of race, income, or location, can access these opportunities. We urge the state of Rhode Island to secure more funding for public and active transportation through the state's budget and the implementation of alternative funding sources. I first want to welcome to the stage Jim Vincent, the Community Outreach Officer for RIPTA.
Thank you very much, and thank you all for being here. Welcome to Transit Equity Day. Woo! Transit Equity Day. And thank you for my colleagues from RIPTA for being here as well. Today we honor the legacy of Rosa Parks, whose courage ignited the Montgomery bus boycott and set the stage for a larger movement for equality. The civil rights movement was in many ways a fight for the right to mobility, the right to access jobs, education, health care, and opportunity. Public transit has always been a lifeline, especially for marginalized communities. RIPTA is committed to ensuring that transit continues to serve as a pathway to opportunity, not a barrier. Transit equity is not just history, it's a present-day issue. According to our 2024 rider survey, 22% of our district riders are Black or African American, and 59% are people of color. This underscores the critical role public transit plays in ensuring access and mobility for diverse communities. We have a responsibility to make sure that service is reliable, accessible, and fair for everyone who depends on it. Transit should create opportunities, not obstacles. We need to ask, what more can we do to break down barriers to mobility? Investing in more frequent and expanded service, enhancing affordability and accessibility, strengthening community engagement to listen and respond to rider needs. Transit equity is about action. Our policies, decisions, and investments should reflect our commitment to fairness and opportunity. As we celebrate Black History Month, let's not just reflect on the past. Let's continue to work that started with Rosa Parks and so many others. Equitable transit isn't just a goal, it is a responsibility. RIPTA is committed to this. RIPTA is installing a Rosa Parks bus shelter on Smith Street to honor her legacy here in Rhode Island and remind us all of the work we have done and must continue to do. And I want to thank the committee, of the Rosa Parks Committee. We should have that shelter perhaps up and running by the summer. So I've been proud to be part of that effort. The Rosa Parks bus shelter, a fitting tribute to a civil rights hero.
Right.
Together, we can ensure that public transit remains a driver of opportunity and is accessible to all. Thank you very much.
Woo!
Thank you, Jim. Next, I want to welcome Walter Melillo, President of ATU 618.
Hello, brothers, sisters, friends. 7 years ago, our union, Rhode Island Transit Riders and environmental groups were inspired to create Transit Equity Day, a day to remember Rosa Parks' birthday. Today on her birthday, we call for transit equity for all Rhode Islanders. Quality public transportation affects the economic and social opportunities people in our communities have. For public transit to be equitable, it must be accessible for all. By investing in public transit, we create access to opportunity for reliable, safe, and affordable transportation that riders across Rhode Island rely on each day to get to work, school, the doctor, and other destinations. We also know public transit is one of the most effective ways individuals can take to conserve energy. We know that riding the bus rather than a car helps reduce pollution and greenhouse emissions due to a bus emitting 80% less carbon dioxide than a car. Public transit also eases traffic congestion on our roads. A bus can carry at least 50 passengers, while most people drive in cars alone. We also must not forget that public transit needs good transit workers to ensure the job gets done for our riders. That's why it's essential to highlight the skilled, experienced transit workers that keep Rhode Island moving. By investing in public transit and RIPTA, we are creating access to opportunity to good union transit jobs for our community. I know together we can make sure transit jobs are good jobs. We have a saying at the ATU, stronger together. When Rosa Parks was arrested on December 1st, 1955, she had no idea it would turn into what it did. It was just a day like any other day. The only thing that made it significant, she said, was the masses of people who joined in. She knew that we are stronger together. It not only changed her life, but it also changed our nation. So on Rosa's birthday, we celebrate Transit Equity Day, a day for us to join and have the courage and determination to make a change. Thank you for everyone for participating in today's important event. Happy Transit Equity Day. Thank you.
And next, I wanted to welcome Rochelle Lee from our very own Rhode Island Transit Office.
Greetings, everyone, here today at the Transit Equity Day. Here Monday, February 3rd, a day before the birthday of our honorable civil rights legend, Rosa Parks. Here we are, 70 years later, after her indelible rebellion against discrimination on buses and public transit, continuing to honor her and the meaning of transit equity. We are here today, 70 years later, after Rosa sat down to stand up for equal access to public transportation. Because the work is not done. Each of us must continue to stand up, sit down, run, walk, do whatever it takes to protect our civil rights to transit equity. We are here today standing on the shoulders of countless others who believe the fight for public transportation here locally and nationally is a fight for economic opportunity. We are here to join with our friends nationally in the transit equity movement throughout the nation to celebrate the meaning and imperative to support transit riders, transit workers, transit systems. We are here today to stand up for families and friends, students and elders, and frontline and transit workers whose jobs provide the means for many of us to find and keep employment, to get to school, to access health care, recreation, and just everyday goods and services. We are here today to ensure that public transportation is available to infuse our local economy with a workforce from all walks of life. Because a workforce made of a diversity of talent, backgrounds, ages, abilities is the exact formula we need for a stronger and more just economy. We are here today to support climate justice advocates who are leading the fight for a sustainable planet. Because enduring public transportation is a cornerstone of the collective effort to save our societies, to save our country, to save our climate. Finally, I would like to add, we are here today to shine a light on the decisions of our elected officials. But when it comes time to allocate our tax dollars, we need RIPTA to be a priority. We are here to fulfill that obligation to support their efforts, to make sure the funding that we need to make this agency fully operable, because it's our job, it's our responsibility, and it's our obligation. So I'm urging you here, each one of us, to stand up for Rhode Island's communities, whether they have limited bus services or whether they need more bus services, because public transportation is a human right, a civil right, and a community resource. Along with my fellow champions for a robust public transit system, which you just heard from, I urge each one of us to stand in a space where public transportation is held up. No different from fire, police, and public education. None of us can afford to pass the buck when it comes to funding transit equity. I hope to see you guys on the front line, be it at the State House, supporting our elected officials with this very heavy lift. And I hope to see you at public hearings, on bus services, at community meetings to educate the public on human rights and the inherent link between transportation and human rights. I hope the days ahead also bring us together in a spirit of friendship and trust, where each one of us can strike up a conversation on the bus, get to know one another, share stories, and foster friendships. Because friendships between riders and bus drivers alike have become legendary. Thanks for standing with us on Transit Equity Day.
Thank you, Rochelle. Next, I want to welcome Ray Gagne, the Executive Director of the Rhode Island Organizing Club.
Thank you for having me speak today. It's a great honor. We work primarily with elderly and disabled bus riders. I'd like to commend RIPTA for some of the steps it's taken over the years to promote equity. In 2017, RIPTA re-upped the no-fare bus pass. 20,000 bus riders use that who would not be able to use the bus. Low-income, elderly, and disabled bus riders. Most recently, they promoted a program to allow the homeless to take the bus. Again, that's very important to promote equity. They've made efforts to improve the ride program. The other day I was talking to somebody and she said, RIPTA is the people's car. RIPTA is the people's car. I thought that was a really great statement. But for RIPTA to truly be the people's car, we have a lot of work to do. We need better night and weekend service. We need more lines like the R line. If an elderly person or a disabled person lives in Westerly or Burrillville, they should have the same access to the bus as those of us who work or live in the greater Providence area. And to truly be the people's car, it should be as convenient as our ability to get in a car. So we still have a lot of work to do, but we have a lot to build on the work that we all did together last year through Save RIPTA. So thank you for having me, and I look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. And next I want to welcome Liza Birkin, transit rider and the board president of Providence Streets Coalition and the Save RIPTA organizer.
Hey everybody, thanks so much for being here in the middle of the day. For me today, the top of mind thing is that while equity might be a dirty word in Washington, it is still a core value in Rhode Island. Let's not forget that. Let's not let our leaders forget that. We are not here to dilute or let go of the progress that we've made on equity, whether it's in transit, housing, climate, it doesn't matter. Equity is core to this state and those who lead it. Thank you all again for being here. I'm Liza with the Save RIPTA campaign. You have in front of you, hopefully, a draft of our 2025 legislative package. A whole suite of bills that we are going to push for to make sure that RIPTA has sustainable long-term funding. We do not want to keep going with our hands out asking year after year for the general fund. We want to create stable, long-term, diverse, healthy forms of funding for this vital service that we need to move our state forward. On the back of this piece of paper is a QR code where you can write to your legislators today, right now, telling them why transit is so essential for you, your neighbors, your parents, your grandparents, your kids, your colleagues. The theme of today was access to opportunity. This is so obviously glaringly true if you just read any economic, any business news across the country right now. A convenient, robust transit system is essential infrastructure for vibrancy, for a healthy economic climate, for access to jobs and work and school. Recently, talking about Hasbro's potential move out of state because they're thinking about going to Boston because of its access to public transit. We cannot afford to keep losing jobs to places with better transit. That's just absurd. We need to get our kids to school. We need to get our everyone to their medical appointments so they can stay healthy. I want to wrap up today, not with my words, but with just a couple of the messages that have come through via, again, this QR code, this message. We already have a bunch in our inbox just from today, sending it out, so please write to your legislators. I'm going to read some that came through this morning. Someone said, I live in Providence and I'm deeply alarmed about RIPTA's impending financial crisis because as a student and someone whose main transportation source is taking RIPTA to get to school, as well as work and other appointments, that would force me to create a separate budget for regular Ubers and Lyfts, which currently I can only afford to use in emergency cases. This is what's really on the line for folks. If RIPTA service is cut, it means paying for Uber and Lyft, like quadruple, 5 times, 6 times the cost every single day to get to work or school. And people cannot afford that. The cost of living is just too high. We cannot let this happen. I'll give one more. I'm a physician and community health practitioner. I gave up my automobile years ago. I gave it up because of my concerns for my health and the health of the environment. My health because as I started to ride the buses to save money on gas, even doctors need to save money on gas, I noticed how I breathe deeply. I noticed the sounds of the birds and the scenery that I could not appreciate because I was driving. Environmental health because if I am not in my car, I have less of a carbon footprint. I have been and continue to be one less person consuming fossil fuel. It's healthier for me and for the planet, period. So there's so many reasons to save RIPTA. Whatever your reason, join us, get in the fight, support these bills, support our bill sponsors, and thank you so much. Woo!
Thank you, Liza. I did want to recognize that Chris Durand, Chief Executive Officer of RIPTA, of course, was supposed to be with us today, but is unfortunately ill. And we wish him well and a speedy recovery. I also wanted to welcome to the stage Barry from Rhode Island Transit Ride.
I'm glad to have a chance to say thanks for all the people who keep RIPTA going and all the people who advocate to keep RIPTA going. You are climate champions because to use transit is to, one of our colleagues in Rhode Island Transit Riders says, to use RIPTA is to be a climate champion. And part of equity is to help the poor people who need RIPTA. Part of equity is to help the people who can't drive for various reasons and use RIPTA. But part of equity is to help the people who use RIPTA because of its environmental and climate reasons. And they are climate champions. They deserve equity too. And that's my message. Thank you.
Thank you, Barry. And I wanted to welcome Patricia Roth from Rhode Island Transit Riders with some closing remarks.
Unfortunately, Representative David Morales has been delayed in a meeting. If he gets here by the time I finish my closing remarks, we'll let him speak, and if not, then the meeting's over. So, thank you all for participating in today's Transit Equity Day. It's clear from all of our speakers that Rhode Island has a lot of work to do to ensure that the state provides sufficient investment in public transit so that all individuals, regardless of race, income level, age, or location, can travel by public transit conveniently and safely. We will work to ensure that public transit isn't an afterthought in the state's budget, but is funded well enough to plug the incoming year's budget deficit and improve transit the transportation experience for everyone. We need your help to achieve these goals. Please sign up for RI Transit Riders listserv for information if you haven't already. Also with Save RIPTA. Stay tuned for our dedication of the Rosa Parks bus shelter, which Rochelle already mentioned, across the street from the State House on 5th Street, and Jim also mentioned. The shelter has been ordered. We have selected an artist. We have finished the design for the shelter. And we are only waiting for its installation to hold our dedication, but it is at least as warm as this and probably warmer, because it could well be spring or even early summer, sometime this spring or summer. Meanwhile, we'll be sending an announcement to members of our listserv that we're holding the first of several public sessions on Zoom, scheduled for 5 o'clock on February 24th. At that meeting and subsequent ones, we'll be providing an update on transit matters and our progress in fighting for transit funding bills in the General Assembly, and discussing any concerns you may have, you may bring to the meeting yourself. So thank you for coming. Is David Morales here? No. End of meeting. Thanks for coming.